Not many people know about this, but it's worth saying. And the reason why I would say this, there have been several people slandering Dr. MacArthur and even others using racial lines of prejudice at Grace and prejudice at the Masters University. So I need to share my perspective. So there's a balanced understanding that this is not true. One Sunday evening after service, Dr. Irv Buznitz kindly walks up to my family, greets them, and makes sure he gets all the names. Of course, he never got my wife's name correctly, so she just adopted that name from him. Said, "Okay, that's my name." So we leave it at that. I have another name. But he says, "Hey, have you guys met Dr. MacArthur?" We're like, "No, we haven't met him yet." He said, "Well, let me introduce you guys to him." And so we all walked up there, all 5 of us, and we introduced ourselves. And my youngest daughter, she hides behind us because she was afraid of MacArthur. She thought he was tall, but he wasn't. He wasn't tall. He was just a godly man. I think it was a fear of God. But anyway, he shook my hand and he says, "Now, Seymour, it's such a pleasure to meet you, but make me one promise." And I know MacArthur doesn't want me to share this. He's not endorsing these things. But if people are saying what they want to say about him, I'm going to say what is the truth and what I know. So he says, "Seymour, I want you to make me a promise." I said, "Okay, I'll do my best. But do you promise that if you need anything at all, that you will reach out to me?" And he points to himself, to me. He says, "Not Irv, not anyone else, but you get in touch with me if you need anything."
Wow.
I was like, okay, yes, I will. It was kind of surprising. It's like, so we walked away and Irv Business was like, "Well, Dr. MacArthur, he's done this before, but he doesn't do it often. But when he does it, he means it. So Seymour, if you need anything, reach out to him." Wow. So we reached a bit of a pickle and knife, and it was a challenge for us. And so I went to the seminary and was like, "Okay, what can I do? Can I work? What can I do? Scholarship, what's available? I want to make sure that I care for my family. I don't want us to be in a difficult situation before I let you guys know we're about to reach that point." And so Ray talked to me about the importance of humility is the one thing he said, because he addressed that might be an issue in my own heart of pride. But then he actually took that need to Irv Business, and Irv was like, "Yeah, I recall, though, Dr. MacArthur telling Seymour what he needs to do if he needs any help. And it was anything, and nothing's off limits, including this." And so I did reach out to him through a secretary, and eventually it got to him. And on more than one occasion, Dr. John MacArthur, who has a massive following, and everyone behind him took personal care and attention to me and my family to make sure that we were taken care of. So wow. when we hear of the other stories, we have to balance it out with I think objective facts of things and events that has happened. And he's been a blessing to me. He knows who I am. I've written to him and corresponded, and he's responded back in writings. He's invited me to pastoral dinners before with his pastoral staff. Always kind. And so when I walk up to him after haven't seen him in a year or two, it says, "Hey, Dr. MacArthur, I'm Seymour." He says, "Yeah, I know you, Seymour. It's good to see you again." Just always been cordial, very loving, very supportive. One of the kindest men in that position that I know. Yeah, and that's key to remember. He's in a very lofty position. He's almost like the John Calvin of our era. It's because God has sovereignly given him this position. He's not a perfect man. He's a man who still sins against God, and he still sins against others, and I'm sure he has as well. But he's an upright man, a godly man, and a man who's shown a genuine care for people. And he definitely has done that for us. And from time to time, I would hear others say, "Yeah, he's asking about your ministry and how the Lord is using you in Long Beach." So I have nothing but fond thoughts of Dr. MacArthur. And so I want to make sure I express that in light of all the sinful folly that tends to go on.